My name's Rebel. This is Xenoblade Chronicles, Future Connected. This is basically just like a small little epilogue game that they included when they made the Switch Definitive Edition of Xenoblade Chronicles 1. So yeah, it's a nice little short 35-ish minute run. So we'll get going in 3, 2, 1, go. Oh yeah.
Good luck.
All right, thank you, Tim. All right, so the category we're doing is any percent casual mode. It's basically any percent easy mode, but you know, to call people out, they called it casual mode, obviously. All right, so just go wait for the first cutscene. All right, there we go. All right, and the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna skip past all the tutorials, turn on casual mode, and so at the start of the the story of this, so everything's happening like in the story post what happens at the end of Xenoblade 1. So these guys are going up to this character Melia's like home city. So, but first thing they notice is we got to go rescue these two little Nopons over here, which are these little creatures that are just part of this universe. We got to go save them from some wolves. I got to do a quick menu first. So we don't get to play as Melia because playing as Shulk is just better. I quickly set up Melia so she's a bit more useful. Better. Right, so now I'm gonna quickly do a setup. And I'm gonna try and kill all three at once. That's not gonna work. Alright, and there's one left. That should be easy. So if you do that entire setup correctly, all three of those enemies die in one shot. Yeah, this load screen here is incredibly long, so I've got nothing really to say. So Tim, if you've got anything that you need to say for a second, then feel free.
Okay, yes, I would just like to remind everyone that we are here at this marathon to support Save the Children and their mission. Save the Children believes every child deserves a future. In the US and around the world, we work every day to give children a healthy start in life, the opportunity to learn, and protection from harm. When crisis strikes and children are most vulnerable, we are always among the first to respond and the last to leave. We do whatever it takes for children every day, and in times of crisis, transforming their lives and the future we share. Back to you, Rebel.
Thank you, Tim. So, oh, thanks. that enemy aggroed onto me and just whacked me. Right, so that happens quite commonly throughout this. Right, so what I'm doing now is I'm basically going around the world a little bit and going around visiting all the different like factions of people that are around this area. So this first place we're going to is called Companion's Cape. It's just got there is a small mini boss we have to fight here later, but for right now in the story, we come here, we get told, oh, there's a problem up in the other city, and then up in where our destination was in Alchemoth. So we're gonna come here, go back to Junks, and then we move on to probably one of the bigger like skips that we have in this actually. So more tutorials. Tells you about accepting and going on quests, but the only quests we do are to get a couple of small little party members. So over here we're gonna need to go through this cave, but before we go in the cave, we get introduced to a kind of a mechanic called the Pond Spectres, which are a group of Nopon that allow us to basically do a big giant QTE attack that deals a lot of damage, and it's a very useful attack throughout the game to make sure we do like bricks of damage to different enemies. And the song will get stuck in your head from this Nopon for quite a while. Alright, so this is actually one of the only text cutscenes which you can't actually skip. It's like a tutorial one, so I think they were like, no, you got to read it. So you can't just get past it, so you got to mash through all the text. So he's just explaining the Pond Spectres are all around the world. They'll have tasks that you need to do. There are 12, I think, no. Brain does not do numbers right now, but basically there's quite a number of them. And there is a category for collecting them all called All Pond Spectres. It's not actually that much longer than any percent. It's like adds on an extra 20, 25-ish minutes onto the game. But yeah, he's just saying go help all my Pond Spectre brothers. And then we get a tutorial about what they are. Alright, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go around the world a little bit and collect some landmarks to basically allow myself to warp around the world a little bit towards the midpoint and endpoint of the of the run. So at this point, it's better to do it now than it is to do it later, because right now we're basically on a set path to travel to our end goal of Alchemoth, but we're never really in much of this area again to really do anything. So it's better to just collect everything now, and then we have the ability to just go around everywhere. It just saves time in movement to do so. All right, over that. Right, and something else with landmark areas, you don't actually have to get as close as you would think. You can actually, with some of them, you can teleport to where they are, like before the landmark unlock thing has actually appeared on your your screen, and we try and do that a couple times throughout the run to save like it saves like a second or two to teleport into landmark locations in some instances, because it spawns you further in than where the unlock location is. So you can basically small amount of movement time. So over here, I'm gonna go. There's some gates way back there behind that massive rock right in front of me. That is Zen's Thoroughfare. So that's a landmark that we come back to after Alchemoth, but we grab it now because otherwise we got to teleport all the way back to where I just came from and then walk all the way here anyway. But because we're over here now, we may as well do that. Alright, so there's two enemies over here. So the monkey and the lizard man over here do like to aggro onto you. Yeah, both of them saw me straight away. Right, so this is Thoroughfare. Right, so what I'm gonna do here actually, so this is like one of the like main kind of skips of the run. So we're gonna manipulate fall damage to try and ensure we survive quite a large fall. Oh, thanks for hitting me. Right, so this wolf guy can cast bind on you and stop you from moving. It's can be quite annoying. So we're gonna fall off the side of the mountain here. Wait for a HP to recover a little bit. And we're gonna hop off here. Right, so the way fall damage works in this game is you take a percentage of your HP based on how far you fall. So what I just did there is I skipped like an entire landmark location, and I think it's like 2.5 minutes of walking. And because we never have to go to that landmark location, it just doesn't make sense to even go near there. So what I'm actually doing here is, the reason why we have to drop down here is because there's a temple at the end of this route where we have to come through it for one of the quests later on in the run. And grabbing it now obviously just makes more sense. And it's very funny that we're like level 60 walking around an area full of like level 70s that can easily like 1-2 shot you. Right, so while I'm walking over there, Tim, if you've got anything that you want to say, feel free.
Oh, I've always got something to say. We do have a donation for you. We have $10 from Aeon Frodo, who says, "Hey Rebel, good luck with the run, especially on Fog King." Thank you very much for that generous donation.
Right. So, yep. Shout outs to Aeon, Frodo. They have the world record of any percent all pond specters, and are generally just really, really good at this game. And yeah, they've already brought up the. Anyone who knows about this run knows about the Fog King, which is the final boss of this. He is he's quite a menace, and he will easily just end a run if he feels like it. All right, so we done. There's like two giant enemies having a fight there. Like King Kong and a dinosaur. Go back over there. Alright, so when I had the map open there, all the little flag icons all around the map are actually the Pond Spectre ones. There are 3 types of Pond Spectres. There's the red ones, the blue ones, and the yellow ones. You need one of, if I'm getting my stuff right, you need one of each type in order to perform what are called Union Strikes, because you need one of each option. And once you do Union Strikes, they're kind of the mechanic that replace chain attacks. So if you've ever seen the Xenoblade run before, some of them are, a lot of fights are normally based around how to get chain attacks fast and optimizing your chain attack damage while doing it. Future Connected doesn't really have that. They took away chain attacks and gave Union Strikes, which, as I did mention before, was they're basically like a QTE that causes a big chunk of damage. And the whole gimmick around the Pond Spectres is the more of them you collect, the higher damage output the Union Strikes have. But in an 80% run, 3 of them, or 1 of each type, does enough damage for us to just about get through all the fights, so we don't need to collect too many of them. The Pond Spectre route and which ones you grab, I believe, have actually changed a couple of times. You always get the first one, which is the guy you have the conversation with. It's like a step away. The first guy I have a conversation with. So there's 2 more I've got to pick up. I'm going to pick up one called Dry in Alchemoth, which is where I'm going now. And then I pick up another one later. And that basically rounds off my ability to do the Union Strikes. So I can normally tell what kind of pace I'm on based on when it goes into night. So this game, it doesn't really affect too much, but there's a clock ticking up in the right-hand corner by the map. That's basically the time of day. Generally, if you get to night around when you're halfway through this next bridge I'm going to walk across, it is you're generally on like a pretty decent pace. So my landmark skip actually went pretty well, so I didn't get hit too much. I didn't get binded, which can happen quite a lot of the time. Alright. So, and when we actually get into, we have one, yeah, so as I said, we're going to go and pick up one of the Pond Spectres in Alchemoth. So the quest we have to do for him, we have to go pick up a few items, and there's a few ways to optimize some movement, so, and to make sure you get bits of bonus EXP. So in this game, when you discover landmarks or discover new locations, you actually get a bit of, you get a little bit of EXP, and that can matter quite a bit, because at the end of this run, we tend to finish it around level 65, but if you get lucky, you can get to level 66, and it can make the final boss a little bit easier. I mean, he can still just turn around and just kill you, but it sometimes helps. This enemy will always aggro onto you. He really doesn't care. He doesn't tend to hit you, but he'll aggro onto you. Alright, up here. There we go. That's the end of that section. Hell yeah, walking. Alright, so I'm going to take one step out of this teleport and do another teleport. Alright.
I need to be even stronger.
Right, so here's our boy Dry. So his quest is go pick up 5 high-end tier feathers, which are placed around the map. Their spawn location is actually kind of random sometimes. Oh, I didn't get it. So sometimes when you accept quests, there can be extra dialogue boxes, which we kind of call flavor text. They're in like the base game. They're based around like your affinity levels with all your party members, but because we don't really deal with any of that in Future Connected, it's just kind of random text boxes that can lose you 1 to 2 seconds, and very annoying. Right, so there's one of them. Right, I'm gonna grab this landmark location here just to teleport to it once in a second. Alright, there's actually an additional location I can discover back here called Ruined Way. That gives a little bit of EXP and a little bit of just gives a tiny bit of EXP, which can help push you towards that level 66. Go. So that just saves like a few seconds in walking back up here. Go. So now we've done Dry's quest. Alright, so while I'm going through all of Dry's dialogue and going on to the next bit, if you've got a donation to him, please feel free to go.
I do indeed, yes. We have received a $25 anonymous donation without any comment, but it does go towards the Worms Armageddon All Missions Worms Voices French Lover. So remember, we have that as a donation incentive. If you want to pick the voice of your worms, then please get those donations in for that. Remember, all your donations do go towards Save the Children. Thank you very much indeed.
Alright, cool. So when walking into Alchemoth, we found there's this massive portal back here with energy leaking out of it, and it's infecting a lot of the creatures. So there's this thing up here that's going to attack us. So we have to get into some combat, finally, right? So I'm going to set my party members to focus an attack on whatever I'm focusing on. So the way combat works in this game is you have these commands on the bottom that are known as arts. And they all have different effects depending on your positioning. So if you position things correctly, you can ensure that you get bonuses. So the move I just did can lower defense if you use it from the side, and it gets a bit of bonus damage if you do so as well. So by making sure you maintain your positioning, you can increase your damage output. And hit him again, thank you. So during combat, your party members will automatically swing their weapons without you doing anything. These are called auto attacks. So they can... and whenever they do auto attacks, they build up their talent gauge. And that gives them, and in Shulk's case, that gives him access to all the different Monado arts. And the one we tend to get the most use out of throughout most of the run is Buster, but then the one we use at the end game is Armor, because Armor gives you a defense buff. Where am I going? Oh, I'm going to... No, where am I going? I'm going there. God, I was thinking of like the next part after this, so... After we discovered what happened in Alchemoth and we found out we couldn't fight what... the Fog King just appeared in that cutscene. Finding out we couldn't fight him. We're coming down here to see a... to see a scientist down at the Sky Bridge here. The teleport I did earlier to Pillar Nox, you can actually do one of them here to save a very, very tidy 0.5 seconds if you want to be that spicy. But if you get it wrong, you lose time, so... Not always worth going. It's really not worth going for. Alright, so when you go there, they tell you that you need to go see the other group of civilians living around this area. So this is quite a decently long walking section. So Tim, if you got some stuff, please feel free to go.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. We have received a $25 donation from username Niels, who says, I can't seem to find the donation incentive to get Rebel Dragon to root Xenoblade Chronicles 3 and run it to close out this summer ESA next weekend.
Oh my god.
Thank you so much indeed for that generous donation. And I'm going to add to that, I want to see Xenoblade Chronicles 3 next time, Rebel.
I'm the worst at rooting video games. Why do this to me?
And that donation has gone towards the Hades run, the bonus run to beat Charon. So remember, that's another incentive that you can put your donations towards. Also remember that all your donations can put you in the running for our wonderful prizes. All you need to do is donate a minimum amount, and that will get you in the draw for all of the prizes on the list up to that value. So, for example, for that $25 donation, we are going to be you'd be entered into the draw for the Stein Hansen Prince, Ranny the Witch, Baleful Shadow, and Blide, and also the Rachel's Ham Pixel Controller Prince as well. And remember, all your donations are going towards Save the Children. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Tim. Right, so that cutscene there is them just getting let into this area. We're coming down here because we need to go see the leader of the area. I can't remember the character's name, but it's a creature known as a Machina. In short terms, they're basically just like a robot that's like a kind of an organic robot. So they kind of evolved on a different entity known as the Mechonis back in the story of Xenoblade 1. Right, so there's another. There is another Pond Spectre here. This isn't the one that we're going to grab. I don't remember what that guy's quest is, but it's not fast. Alright, so we come up into the Grandel. So, Grandel here, we're going to do a couple of things. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drop all my money on one weapon for the little Nopon Nene that I've got with me. She needs a bit of a damage buff a bit later on, so I'm going to talk to our man here. Drop all of our money and then just leave. Grab that landmark there, so we can teleport back there in a second. So, we're going to go grab the final Pond Spectre that we need. So, I can't remember which Pond Spectre they used to grab, because I didn't learn this game until after they changed all the routing for it, but this particular Pond Spectre route was actually found by someone called Sonic Shadow Silver 2. He does a lot of stuff with KH and a bunch of other games as well. But yeah, he found that if you just come over to this island over here, the quest item that you actually need to complete the quest is just there already without you having to start the quest. So you can go pick up the item, go talk to the quest giver, which is the Pond Spectre, get the quest, instantly complete it, then talk to him again. So you don't have to We go around a bunch. So this here is the landmark Prayer Rock. And the last Bond Spectre we're grabbing is one called Tutu. So Tutu wants to find his mirror. Somehow his mirror got over here. We can teleport back to Prayer Rock just to save ourselves walking a little bit. Quite a big enemy over there that's going to attack us. Level 74. He's quite a large boy. I sat here with like the level 61 bodies we've got. Right, so this little Nopon fishing here is Tutu. He's looking for his lost mirror, so we're going to give it back to him. Alright, there we go. There you go, we instantly complete it. There we go. Alright, so now we can go and see the Machina. Just telling you about how those tutorials are telling you about how the union strikes work, and it mentions something about an extra chance. I don't know the percentage chance of that happening, but when you do a union strike, there's a chance that it could just give you an extra union strike for free. Alright, so we're going to do a quick menu here. We're going to put Topple Plus on there, because Melia is our Topple dealer. There we go. Right, so I'm going to level up smarts. Basically, leveling them up increases the damage they do, increases the effects that they have. So I'm just going to grab some levels. Melia needs that one, that one, that one. And I'm going to increase her Topple time. Then Nene gets the most level ups because she's the tank, so she needs to be dealing the most damage. So I'm kind of a mechanic in the background of combat is a mechanic called aggro. So the way aggro works is the more damage that... So every time you deal damage, you get points of aggro, basically. And they need to be... You need to be maintaining high levels of damage to keep aggro. So you want your tank, Nene, to maintain as much damage as you can. So then Shulk here can change his positioning a lot and make sure that he's getting in the damage on everything else. Right, do that. Backslash that guy. I do normally get bodied by this fight a little bit. Okay, that's fine. Oh, okay, that's kind of working a little bit better than normal. Now I can just spam some attacks and that should end the fight. There you go, easy. Right, so straight after that fight, we've got to go do another fight, which is down here in the Ground Arch. So these are some Armos. These are big creatures. Alright, so the move I did at the start there is called Shadow Eye. It basically takes aggro away from Shulk and increases his stats by a little bit during the fight while the buff is active. Oh, he did the thing. He did the charge. Oh, great, an Affinity Burst. So that's an Affinity Burst. They can randomly happen. You don't really want them to happen too much. Alright, so right after that, we go back up to the Sky Bridge. There's a boss fight here as well. What I love about this run, you spend like the beginning of it just walking around, and then like suddenly there's like 4 fights in a row. So this is Galgar. We don't like Galgar, so we're going to beat him up a little bit. So this is a Union Strike. And there's QTEs throughout the Union Strike. You have to hit at the right time. I missed the last one. That last one there is actually a... as far from what I've been told, like a 2-frame input, so you got a very short margin to hit it. And just going in on this guy. That should finish him. And then I want to try and... Oh, an Infinity Burst. It's not very useful, but that's fine. There we go, easy. Alright, so we got a short little quest that we got to do. So that landmark I picked up all the way in the back of the level 70 area. This is where we need it. So we get told that we need to go collect High Ether, and that will be the key to fighting the Fog King. So we got to go and talk to a few people, see if they know about what High Ether is. So Gotta go see that soldier. He can be very annoying to talk to. Sometimes he'll just turn away and just not want to talk to you. Come up here. There's a high end tier guard. He mentions going and talking to I can't remember the woman's name, but basically he tells us to go find the this woman. She's in the graveyard. So in a second, I'm going to quickly teleport to Prayer Rock down here, and then she'll tell us that and she'll give us a hint about where to go to get the high ether. So, and the weird part about this is the game wants you to go back and report to the Machina, and there's a cutscene where they have a discussion and they work out where they need to go. But the trigger for the item spawning is actually just talking to this lady here. So once you've spoken to the lady, you can just go straight there and grab the item. And it's in that the like quarry temple thing that I mentioned. It's basically an area full of incredibly high level enemies. Skip the battle text, and then there we go. Right, so this cave's full of like level 70 to 75 enemies, and yep, if you try and fight any of them, you will just actually die. So, and when you die in this game, you get flung back to the nearest landmark. But luckily, there is a way we can cheese this place pretty easily. So we get seen by that guy while falling. Then we're gonna get deliberately seen by this spider. And I'll make sure I get hit. Yes, I did get hit there. Good. Right, go around here. We want to get hit by one of these lizardmen. Good. And the reason why I'm jumping is because if you get hit while walking, you stagger. So I'm going to die, grab that landmark location, or grab the landmark location while dying, and then when I die, I teleport to this landmark location that I've just collected, and all the enemies are on the other side of me. And you just don't have to deal with any of them. I do know in the normal speedrun, you actually come, when you come here early, because you need to actually grind EXP in the, like, normal difficulty run, they actually, they take that big guy, they just fling him off the edge a bunch of times to get a bunch of EXP from him. Which is always very amusing, because throwing enemies off stuff actually just counts as you killing them in this game. Alright, cool. So, we've been told of some animals causing mayhem. So, this guy here, I like to call him a Triceratops. The strat here is we're going to abuse what's known as a topple. So in this game, there is a few states of enemies. So there are like 3 statuses you can put on enemies. There's a break, which then leads into a topple, which then leads into a daze. So by ensuring there's always a break on this guy, my party members will always go for the topple, and the whole idea is we want to keep him on the ground for as long as possible. And so the whole reason why I want all the aggro on all the other party members is because I want to be able to just run around as Shulk and make sure that I keep everything away from him, so he can run around and change his positioning to make sure he gets his bonus effects. Cool, making sure I'm changing my positioning. So using Union Strike in this fight is actually slower because you need it for the fight after this. And sometimes it can be pretty difficult to build up. I mean, if I'd used it, I would have got an Affinity Burst, which would have been fine, but you can't rely on the Affinity Burst luck being in your favor, so. Cool. So the whole reason why I need to be at the side for that move is because it actually decreases physical defense, which is, like, extremely useful for Shulk, because all of his attacks are physical. The end of this isn't going too well. So another kind of mechanic in the background of combat is affinity levels between party members. The higher affinity levels, the better your party members tend to do in combat, so you're also trying to make sure that you're ahead of that, because if they have low affinity, they start missing more attacks and are generally like not as useful in combat. Right, so this is the big spider. Right, so let's see if I can do this right. Cool. 1, 2, that's fine actually. Easy, right. So you actually don't want a perfect one here. You want to be able to try and get a little bit of meter if you can on this guy. So you want to at least get a little bit of meter from him. Alright, so right after that, we have to go fight another dinosaur. Now, this dinosaur is a big T-Rex. He will he can quite easily just kill you. So hopefully we get a Union Strike pretty quickly. If you get Affinity Burst, this fight's pretty free, but not the fastest, but it is always useful. So focus attack, change that to that. Extreme Edge, there we go, that's fine. Start getting stuff. Oh, nice. Taking all the damage. Need them to take the aggro off of me for a second here. Right, good. Okay, easy. That was a pretty bad first one on the bonus damage. That was a pretty bad second one as well. I mean, I didn't hit the 2-frame, but I did get some damage on it. Right, so that gets rid of all the little ads around him, which is extremely useful. And there we go, there's the dinosaur. Yeah. Alright, cool. So now we're going to go to Alchemoth now. So we're actually coming up on the final boss of the run. This guy can be quite difficult. You have to fight the Fog King twice. A lot of his moves are really difficult to deal with, and they can easily like 2 to 3 shot you. If he gives you like the wrong pattern of attacks and you just can't deal with it. So before going in there, I will be making a save, because if he does kill you, he kicks you back to the title screen, and if you don't have a save, then he just kills your run for you right at the end. Right, so a little strat you can do is, if you have got some party gauge left after that fight, you can actually aggro this enemy here, try and maintain it, because when you're walking and you're not in combat, your party gauge actually ticks down really, really slowly. So if you get like a really early Union Strike on the T-Rex that I just fought, and you build up a bunch of meter, you can use that enemy to try and maintain at least a bar of it to make your going into King a little bit easier. And I've just seen my level is 65, so this could get a little bit hairy, but it's normally okay. But if you're level 66, I tend to find it a little bit easier, but it doesn't matter too much. Right, so up here's the point of no return. If you enter here without making a save, yeah, you and die. Back to title screen, no run for you. So I'm gonna quickly just go. Save that one. There we go. Alright, so we're going into Fog King now. So we have to fight this guy twice, so hopefully it goes well on both times. So this guy is surrounded by a bunch of these little orbs. The orbs are actually more of a problem than he is, because you've got like a bunch of stuff attacking you at once. Alright, so what moves are you going for first? So I've just set up a Monado Armor. Monado Armor increases defense. One of this guy's moves, he has a move called a Raising Mist. A Raising Mist erases all stat buffs if he gets it off. He didn't get it there because we got a topple on him. That's fine. I need him to get the aggro off me, please. Alright. Oh, I'm at the wrong position right now. Right. My HP situation is a little bit scary here, but we should be fine. Oh, I got it perfect. I gets rid of all the ads around him and kill myself up quickly. Air slash. Go around him. Trying to build up as much meter as I can for round 2. Cool, that's enough meter. So that's Fog King 1. Right after Fog King 1, we get flung into another fight with Fog King. So this fight is basically exactly the same. All the same stuff can kill you. Oh, of course he goes straight for a Raising Mist as well. Cool, that's fun. That move he's doing there can cause a topple on you, and the topple lasts for 16 seconds, but if you're in the animation for a Union Strike, then you're safe from it. Cool. Oh, I didn't get the perfect. Big rip. But that'll get rid of all the Summon Knights, which are more of the problem than he is. Alright, so now I want to try and build up another one. Try and get him off me again. Oh, that's fine. Alright, just making sure my other party members are safe because they're quite frail. So they can die quite easily. Thank you. Alright. Activate another Monado shield in case I need it. Oh, mischarge. A mischarge increases the damage of his next attack by quite a lot. I'm at the wrong angle, no. Cool. And that will help us survive that attack, yeah. So when you're in the animation for that, as I said, you're pretty much safe. Hopefully I get this 2-frame. Cool, I got it. Let's go. And that's time.
GG.
Hell yeah. Okay, so like for context, that fight is just, sometimes it's just impossible and it will kill you. So my estimate's 45 minutes because it accounts for only dying to Fog King and nothing else. So yeah, that was Xenoblade. This is a nice little cool run if you want to try running Xenoblade and not get into like some of the 4-hour runs that can really eat a lot of your time. But yeah, as shout outs to the Xenoblade Chronicles speedrunning community. Obviously, if you want to learn this game, there's the Speedrun.com page. There is the Discord, and there are notes for this game on the leaderboard as well. So yeah, if you want to learn it, come and give it a go. I think this is a nice little 35-minute like RPG run if you really want to dip your toe into like RPG type speedrunning, especially games like this with very much like MMO style like mechanics and things. But yeah, so that's it from me. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. Let's hear it from RebelDragon95. Fantastic Xenoblade Chronicles, Future Connected run there. Thank you very much indeed, Rebel. As always, fantastic. And we are going to be right back after a short intermission. We have a wonderful run coming up. We have the fantastic Trackmania 2 Canyon run by Rastats. So please bear with us. We're going to go have a quick break and we'll be right back. Thank you very much.